Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Reelight NOVA battery-free bike headlight and taillight system. These days it's hard to keep track of all the rechargeable devices on your bike. From smart headlights, taillights, headlights, GPS units, even down electronic shifters. That means it's highly likely you found yourself riding in the dark with dead bike lights at least once. Reelight's NOVA battery-free modular light system utilizes their innovative contactless rim dynamo lights to ensure you're always visible and not have to worry about the battery status. They offer quite a few variations of this. We have the full system here. You have the dynamos, you have the headlight and taillight, as well as a rack variation for the headlight and taillight as well. So really flexible options, and you can configure it exactly the way you want it. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the packaging. It's very simple. You have white and black branding on here, NOVA on all of them. And you have the different styles, obviously, for the headlights and taillights. Specs printed on the back. We'll go ahead and take it out of the box and go over those specs. Retail price on this varies depending on how you configure it. The system starts at €87, and that includes €30 dynamo, so you need one for light. Per light, each of these are €13, while the luggage variation or the rack variations are €16. They also have additional adapters or longer cables as desired. They're 20 to 30 lumen at 15 kilometers an hour. And again, you have basket mounting options, fork, or seat post, depending on which one you choose. These have the contactless dynamo, so as long as you have an aluminum rim set, you can simply put these dynamos near your rim and use eddy current to generate power. So no batteries to worry about, nothing to recharge. They also have the ReePower flash, which is one of their features which allows these lights to actually stay powered on even when you're stopped for up to 2 minutes. So use the built-in capacitor in the dynamo itself to ensure you still have power. In terms of what comes with it, it's quite a few things. They have this tissue paper design that actually keeps it safe and also has the instructions printed on it. So a nice eco-friendly design. And you can see if you unwrap this, it actually shows you how to mount it or how to position it. So pretty cool. With the dynamos, you actually have two pieces. You have the dynamo itself and then the little Allen key, which is just simply an Allen key with a little round mount to adjust the tension on the wire mount. For the headlights and taillights, you get the same wrapping, and that again has the instructions right on here. So depending on which one you choose, you need to put that on your rack, basket, or different locations. And you get, with at least the headlight, you get that fork mount. So you can attach this to the fork bolt hole and then mount the light on that. You get some zip ties, as well as the mounting bracket shared with both the headlights and taillights, as well as the power cable that connects from the dynamo to the actual lights. Now let's take a look at the weight of the light setup. It really depends on how you set it up. The headlights and taillights are identical. So if you get the standard one, it's 24 grams. If you use the rack variation, it's obviously a little bit heavier because you have the rear bolts. That's 46 grams. And you also have a little bit of hardware with the dynamo. So the dynamo itself is 84. These are interchangeable with most of Reelight's products. Then you also need a power cable, as well as the O-ring, and then the little bracket for both the headlight and taillight. That's 16 grams. The Reelight NOVA has a two-piece design that separates the headlight and taillight from the dynamo generator using a simple power cable. With this two-piece design, you have much more flexibility in both the mounting locations of the headlight and taillight, as well as more flexibility in the form factor. So you can see these are much larger than traditional headlight and taillight, and they have large reflectors built in. So it's a really cool feature and ensures they're always visible. The headlight and taillight are nearly identical, except for obviously the coloring. You want red on the rear, and then white on the front. You can also see the front light is more focused, while the tail light has those little dimples in there that help diffuse the light. Both of them have the mounts built in on the rear, so simple plastic construction, Reelight printed on it, and a bolt connector. You also have the basket option, so here's the basket or luggage rack option for the front. And you can see it's almost the same design again. They've simply added a second reflector on the left side, as these are mounted horizontally. So extra visibility as you have the additional space. The rears are slightly different. You have the power connector port, and then these additional threaded spots for a bolt. So a really nice design, and ensures you can just go directly to your mounting rack location or use a provided bracket to attach it to your luggage rack. They'll have a simple single LED design and almost a charcoal color finish. Mounting these requires using the bracket, so you move the bolt, slide that in, and then you can use the provided O-rings. You round it through here, down the center with the bolts removed, and then loop it around your head tube or seat post. Alternatively, they have the fork mount for the front, and that lets you ditch that bracket and simply connect this directly using that provided bolt with a more flexible upright position, and then using a secondary bolt to connect it to your frame, which is not provided. The luggage rack one also has a bracket if your luggage rack doesn't have the 2 bolts already threaded and ready to go. The dynamo on this is also really cool. So this is a little magnet with a capacitor in there. It has a fair amount of weight, and it's the most expensive part of the whole system really, at €30. It has a simple pivoting design that attaches to your fork or seat stay using this integrated cable. It's a really sleek design, and it's very secure. To adjust the tension on the cable to mount it, they provide a little Allen key. It's shaped like almost like a key, but you can see it's simple Allen design. Put it through the hole here, and then you can loosen or tighten the tension on this cable to get it mounted perfectly. With this, you want to get the magnet within 2 millimeters of your aluminum rim. You have to have an aluminum rim, as this requires an eddy current. So as your aluminum rim rotates, it'll generate an eddy current that magnetizes the magnet in here and pushes power to the capacitor, which will then transfer power all the way to your light using the provided cable. So a really sleek design. There's no friction from this design because it's a contactless design, and it ensures you always have light. You never have to worry about a battery or recharging anything. Now let's go over the installation of the taillight. What you want to do is take off the bolt that's provided with a bracket, run the O-ring through it, wrap it around your seat post, and then loop it back through. Then you can see it secures that onto it. Then you want to take the taillight and slide it through these 2 holes on there. And then you can run the bolt through it to secure it in place. And here you can see you can adjust the seat angle, the light angle, by just adjusting it before you tighten it down all the way. And then you can see it's nice and secure. I also have the cable already attached to it. Make sure you firmly press it all the way in so it's fully in contact. Now let's install the dynamo. It has to be installed within 2 millimeters of your aluminum rim to generate the eddy currents. So you want to place this onto your seat stays. You can place it forward, backward, as long as that target symbol is facing the aluminum rim and centered on it. So for me, it makes more sense on the drive side. And the mount on here is actually really cool. It's a wire built into the unit itself. So you just wrap it around and then try to get it through. Once you have that, you want to position it at a proper height and then just tighten it using the provided tool within this little slot. It's just a little Allen key. So if you do lose the tool, it doesn't really matter. You can use any Allen key. It's just a little more convenient. As you tighten it down, it will pull tension on the cables and then secure it in place. It also has a ball and socket design. So you can see you can rotate this whatever angle you need once you have it tightened. Also note that you want to make sure the cabling doesn't get stuck in your wheel, so that's where you can use the zip tie or just loop it around your seat stays, as I've done here, just to keep it out of the way. Now let's set up the front. So it's pretty similar. I'm going to install it on the head tube. So again, you're going to take the bolt out of the little plastic bracket, and then we'll use the appropriate O-ring. There's different lengths, so you pick the one that works with your bike. You can see nice and secure. Then I'll take the front light. Again, I'll go ahead and install the power cable, push it all the way through again, and then position it on the front. Again, you want to install the dynamo for the front. Each light source takes its own dynamo, and they both have the little targets on there. So place a target centered on your aluminum rim within the 2 millimeter distance. You can position it any way you want. Just make sure that target is there, so you can do a driver side, non-driver side, forward or backwards. I'm going to do it backwards and then wrap it all the way around. You can loosen the cable using the provided tool and that slot again. So I'll loosen it to get some more cable tension out of there. wrap it around the fork until you have enough slack to actually get it in there. Once you have it at the approximate angle you want, you just tighten it down. And then again, this has a ball and socket design so you can adjust the angle. To verify everything is correct, what you want to do is fidget with the position until you see the lights turn on solid after some motion. So you can see once I'm running this, it goes solid. So that means I have the placement correct. If you don't see that, you want to adjust that position until it's almost touching and then back it off and keep it centered. When you stop moving, it should also flash once it has enough battery capacity in it. So repeat that for the front and rear. And this part does take a little bit of time, so be prepared to take a little time. So you can see here, this one actually works quite well, so it's solid. When you stop, it just blinks, indicating that it has a little battery capacity, but you're not moving. Reelight rates the Nova front as 150 lumens and the rear as up to 60 lumens at maximum output. More realistically, you should expect 20 to 30 lumens. That's about 10 miles an hour. As you can see here, you do see it in shady paths, but it is not a daytime visible light. And as you can see, there are no controls on the light. Once you start riding, it will go solid. And then if you come to a stop, as you can see here, it will go into the flashing mode using the stored power in the capacitors on each of the dynamos. So a really cool feature, and that ensures you are visible even when you're not moving. These are definitely not a very bright light though, so I highly recommend using battery powered lights if you're on darker trails, but they're a great secondary light to keep you visible. Now let's do a comparison between the Nova lights and other lights on the market. Obviously these being a battery-free design, they have a much different form factor with large reflectors built in, while traditional lights have cob LEDs with no reflectors and they simply rely on the built-in battery. You can see the size of these are very similar. This is the Nog Traffic with really cool designs and different modes. You have a power button and different modes to choose from with the USB port actually built into it. So you can see almost the same size and it has the battery integrated, while the Reelight obviously has the dynamo and then the taillight itself, but just a two-piece design. With the Reelight NOVA, I really recommend using these as secondary lights and then still using traditional taillights, whether it's the Nog, something like the Magshine 200, which has 200 lumens versus the 20 to 30 of the Nova. And then again, using the Nova as a backup light, so you always have something visible and then extra visibility at night because you have reflectors. With all the traditional taillights, there is no reflective elements in here. So once the battery dies, you're out of luck. So with this, you always have something visible. So whether your bike is parked, you can be sure that you'll be visible. The Bullet 200 is also an interesting one. You can see similar round form factor, but again, with all the built-in batteries, you get a lot more creative modes. And then you just have to make sure to recharge it as they all have a basic low battery status indicator. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Reelight NOVA. What we like about them is that it's a battery-free design. You don't have to worry about recharging batteries, replacing them. It's always ready to go. You also have integrated large reflectors, which is a rare feature on a bike light and ensures your bike is visible even when it's parked. You also have the ReePower flash, which keeps the lights on even when you're at a stop sign or stop light for up to 2 minutes. Some of the cons for the Nova is the fact that you do have limited output. You can achieve up to 150 lumens on the front and 60 on the rear, but it requires riding pretty fast, which is why I highly recommend using these as secondary lights and using brighter battery-powered lights for darker trails. Also, the dynamo installation requires specific spacing, so you want to ensure they are within 2 millimeters of your rim, and they can slightly move over time, so you do have to adjust them as needed. Taking everything into account would give the Nova a 9.1 out of 10. These are clever be-seen lights that you can just install on your bike and then forget about. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.